Hello my loves! Today I want to talk about money, which I am super excited about because I have had a huge revelation this week. So I've been doing a lot of inner work, a lot of personal growth for a long while, and money, especially this year, has been a real hitch for me. And there was, no matter how I looked at it, how I felt about it, how much I directly tackled it, how much I went an indirect route, focused on other areas, there was still something quite gunky about it for me that I couldn't quite pin down. And I always had my old way of making money, which was very much in my masculine, very from my head. But since I gave that up at the beginning of this year and have been dedicating myself to a new life, a new way of living, that included my relationship with money, and I wanted it to be really easy, really free-flowing, something that I just always knew was there, that I could always trust on, and that it was building even while I wasn't managing it, and it was just gorgeous and glorious, and I could spend freely, I could receive freely, and it was just all around me. And I had a really clear idea of what I wanted, and I just couldn't quite get there. And I was stuck at this place of, I can start to imagine in my visualizations, just when I'm out and about, that I do have this really lovely, gorgeous, abundant field of money, and I could feel that in my body really clearly when I was doing those practices. But I just couldn't bring it home. I couldn't put it into practice. There was still something that was quite deep rooted. I'm familiar with how it felt because it's been there for such a long while, but because it was so deep rooted, I couldn't quite get to it. And I had a glorious week this week, and something finally sank in. And one of the things I've always been taught, especially when looking in the feminine and masculine energy field, is that money by nature is very feminine. It's fun, it's playful, it comes and it goes, and it's got no bounds. And I loved that idea, I loved that sentiment. And again, that's what I was tapping into when I was feeling, yes, this is so much fun to spend and to receive. But my huge revelation came when I realized I actually need to see money as quite masculine. So before, my natural way with money is very controlling. So before, when I've earned money, it's always been from, I work really hard, I get money. It was from my corporate job, and I could allow myself to have a higher salary than other people my age, but it was still somewhat capped, and it wasn't free-flowing, and it wasn't like huge chunks of money could suddenly fall on my lap. It had to be very controlled, it had to be very predictable, and I didn't realize I was doing this, of course, but I had to know how much was coming in, and I had to know how much I was spending, because I always linked money to survival. And it was a sense of, I have to build as much money as I can, I have to save as much money as I can, I have to hold as much money as I can, I have to spend the least amount that I can, so that I have this little pot that I can feel safe on, that I just know that I'm not gonna suddenly become homeless. And that was my main goal for me. It was just, can I earn in order to survive? And that's a question that I've had for a long time in my body. And so that's what I had to release. It was really hard to release this sense of money and survival, because of course you're talking about safety. You're talking about rewiring safety here, and it's really understandable that a lot of us do have this energy around money as our survival, because you need it in order to live, and money creates so many beautiful experiences as well, and that's why all of us are drawn to it. So my big revelation was that I actually need to stop seeing money as really fun and free-flowing, and I needed to see it as masculine, but not my masculine. I needed to see it as a provider, as if, because I was able to create a lot of polarity, get in my feminine energy, feel really fun and really trusting when it comes to certain situations or certain men who just triggered that, who were healthy and just put me, I was like, okay, they're healthily and they're masculine, and I'm able to just trust that they are handling it and then just sit in my feminine body. And I realized that I need to see money as separate from me first and foremost, because when I was thinking about money being feminine, I directly related it to my ability to be feminine, and it was also quite linked to my self-worth. And of course that scared me because I'm doing a lot of work and that's building, that's great. My self-worth is really, really high at this point, but there are always times where you have to dip into your masculine, or there might be a time where you're struggling in future and something just happens and you feel a bit of a wobbly. And I wanted to future-proof that. So I say for me, money is still, I want it to be secure. I want it to be, I'm so abundant in money that I could spend all that I wanted to, and there's no way that I'd hit anywhere near zero. So that's now my level of safety, rather than safety being I've got this amount and I need to make sure I live within my means, and keeping myself really small. So by thinking of money as it is separate from me, it is something that loves me, that wants to pour into me, something that I can trust, something that it has its own intelligence, it can build on its own, it can save on its own. It doesn't need me to overlook it. That has been a huge game changer, allowing money to have its own intelligence, and then to trigger it through my feminine, to kind of activate money by being in my feminine, saying, okay, yeah, like you would with a guy, like a provider man, you're in your feminine and you feel that energetic pull, and you just know that he wants to take care of you and provide for you and pour into you and love on you. And that's how I need to see money, because in that way it's nothing to do with me. I get to still feel really free and explorative. My masculine doesn't have to kick in and go, oh, but what if this happens? Instead I go, okay, well, I can be adventurous because I know that money is separate from me. I know that money absolutely loves me. Money is my ultimate provider. Money cares about me so, so deeply that it just wants to give me more, even when I'm scared, even when I'm feeling really closed off and worried, even when I'm feeling super, super happy and abundant, even when I'm getting it from other areas. Or it just allowed me to fully surrender, to kind of go, you know what, it was that last piece of trust, and I couldn't find a way to trust that in the feminine, because sure, it can build, but I was so worried about gaining loads and then suddenly losing loads, and that to me felt really, really unsafe. So now that I think of it as the masculine, I get to trust that it is going to take care of me, it's going to hold me, it is my provider, it is my stability, it is my consistency. And the bit that where I pour into, my reciprocation of that is appreciating it by letting it come in and letting it go out. So by spending as well, that's really important to spend money, because money loves to move. Again, quite feminine quality. And I also get to play with it. I get to see where can I receive it from, not just from my job, but can I receive it from other areas? So yes, think of, if you're struggling with money, if it feels really dense, if it feels like you're still really constricting it, you're very masculine in your money, you have to pull it in, you have to look at it all the time, you have to hold it, you have to know exactly how much you're getting, how much you're spending, and you can't spend over that, you can't let yourself have fun. Try reframing it this way, that money is your masculine provider, and then you get to be in your feminine, and you guys get to co-create together. And honestly, this is such a juicy embodiment, And I'm starting to realize that it helps in other areas as well, knowing that I can trust the feminine by thinking of it as somewhat masculine, knowing that it's still got those strong containers in it, that it can hold me and it can really, that I know it's there, and no matter what, whether it goes down, whether it looks as though we're going through a bit of a low, scary point, I know it's going to pull through. I don't have to step in. I don't have to activate my emergency masculine, because I know it's got me, and I know that it's never going to get, because it loves me so much and it knows that I get worried when it dips quite low. It's never going to do that. It's only going to build and build and build, and that just really helps me keep a high vibration, and that high vibration is what's going to keep calling money in. So I am really excited about this, and I'm so excited to see where the embodiment takes me. And already, since having that, I've had a lot of richer experiences in my life, and that's only been like a couple days to a week, and so yes, I really hope this helps. I'm so excited to see how this pans out for you, and try this experience. Really let me know how it goes. I think this is really helpful for people who are naturally very masculine in their money. And actually, I want to say, I think I've had, because I was always told that money is very feminine, that was from people who were already very feminine in their money. So they could call large amounts in, but they'd also spend it. They couldn't save it, they couldn't hold it, they couldn't grow it, they couldn't build it. So if you're listening to this and you're actually quite feminine with your money, you're not like me, you're not someone who is very controlling with it, then I would recommend that you do the opposite and start seeing money as very feminine, so that you can then take on a bit more of the masculine structure that it needs. Again, you don't want to get rid of all the feminine in it. Of course, money is very feminine, but I think I'm starting to see that we need to reframe money as the thing that we are over excessively expressing. So I'm overly expressing masculine, therefore I need to see money as masculine so that I can make room for the feminine that I'm suppressing. On the other hand, if I saw money as, if I was really feminine with my money, it was really free-flowing, but I just had no stability, and I was maybe a last-minute manifester, you know, I was going down to broke and then praying that, oh, please God, I really need this because my rent's running out and I've got zero money, and then all of a sudden the money shows up. If I'm that kind of manifester, then I would start to see money as very feminine so that I could bring up the masculine for that money needs. Money still needs both the feminine and masculine that I have suppressed, so bring up that masculine pole that I have suppressed because I've been overexpressing my feminine, for example. So I hope this is helpful. Really let me know how it goes. Let me know if this clicks or resonates with you, and if it does, I'd be really interested to hear your story and your side of things. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, my loves.